fly, rolling hard down the road. I'm Tom McKay, your host, with David D'Ambroso, David Oldham, and David Van, all three Davids that matter. Don't forget, we're here every Monday from 7 to 8 live. Don't forget to chat and check in with us. What else have we got to finish us up?
We've got that mass shooting.
Yeah, talk about it. This is this weekend.
That's my old stomping ground.
Bring us up to speed.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell us about the airlift. Do you know anything about this garlic event? Can you tell us a little
Oh
bit?
yeah, the Garlic Festival's world renowned actually. First place you can that I think was ever introduced garlic ice cream. It's Gilroy, California, and they have every year they have the Garlic Festival. Gilroy, the garlic fields are all around. You drive through there on the way to from when I was in the Central Valley, driving to San Francisco or the Bay Area. You drive right through there, and all you smell is garlic and onion.
This explains Oldham's trauma. He's from California.
I am from California.
But tell me, okay, so what happened here? Well, obviously there was a shooting.
Well, all of a sudden there was just a bunch of gunshots, and I think.
Well, I'm going to stop you there.
Dead.
They've essentially banned most kinds of gun in California. And they banned the gun that was used, so I'm just very confused.
Yeah, they couldn't even.
It was a gun-free zone as well. How are you sure that you're not mistaken?
Oh, well, it must not have been a gun then, because it was.
Yeah, it had to be something else. They were banned.
It was some sort of assault type thing, but I don't know if it was a gun.
So the promoters or in cooperation with the park department who put on this event in the park, they made this a gun-free zone. This was a soft target now. I mean,
and wouldn't you know it?
Yeah.
My best Minnesotan accent. I don't have one.
Don't you know?
And wouldn't you know?
Don't you know?
96% of all mass shootings take place in gun-free zones. It is
right.
so weird. It's like, I don't understand this concept. It's like you put a big sign here, no one here is armed. I don't know why people go and shoot those people. I mean, it is so weird that you don't see mass shootings at gun ranges. Why does that
The
not
guy
happen?
that shot was like 19, right? The shooter was like 19.
Yeah.
This is a young person, okay?
Yeah.
And that just shows you how the society that we're living in right now is creating an unstableness. We've had 40 years of Democrat rule mostly, and we've got an unstable society.
Jeez, California has 60 years.
We're not quite. Well, yeah, but California has been back and forth and did have some very conservative areas.
Yeah,
Ronald Reagan was governor.
Duke Majan was a pretty conservative
Majan
in the 80s.
The governor, the mayor of San Diego as well. Can't think of his name at the moment. Right. But anyway, they've had their times. But at this point, the thing that I question, especially with all these young kids, is all the psych drugs that they're on. Because also find from so many of these shooters is not only are they going into these gun-free zones, but they're on psych meds.
Right.
And they are products of the public school system. And usually they're on the psych meds because they've been forced to sit down and learn instead of, allowed to be boys and work through their.
So this is something I'd like to work on, and it's kind of a preliminary idea, but I'd like to hold people responsible for disarming someone in an area. At the point that you're saying, and there are private property rights. If you have private property rights, you have the right to say everyone must wear a hat that looks like this, or you can't defend yourself. But we've got so much lawfare in the United States now. We're such a litigious society. Why in the world can't we hold these people legally responsible for these massive, murder pits, these gun-free zones?
We were talking about
because
that.
The Supreme Court says you can't.
Right, but it's just, where does the moral authority, if government takes away your right to self-defense, do they not therefore have a moral right to be responsible for your well-being? I would say yes.
Because it's not just a right, it's a duty. You have a duty to protect yourself.
Well, but this is all farcical. That's the whole point. It's a farce because they don't have the authority. They have to take it by force because they have to tyrannically usurp their authority. They don't have the right to say you can't carry a gun. They don't have the right to...
David, you're painting with a broad brush here because I know a lot of people are adjudicated away the right to have a gun. And not just criminally. I'm talking about people who are, by this reason of their mental instability, aren't. When the government takes that away from them,
Oh, I see
they
what
are
you're saying.
very vulnerable. Okay?
Sure.
Without any criminal intent, and most of the time not violent people. You know, and so I believe the government should take responsibility that, you know, to provide, or at least attempt to provide, an extra level of protection against those for whom you've adjudicated their right away from them.
Well, yeah, I don't know how many of those were at this particular.
Doesn't matter
event.
if there's one, David, the point is still true.
Well, okay, yeah, I don't know how to make that happen, but
Wow, mark the calendar.
okay, I don't know how you're going to make that happen, but here's
I don't know, but it's a moral point.
Sure.
It's just a moral point.
Well, but the thing is that it's farcical to have a gun-free zone and have it in any way lawful.
All a gun-free zone is a law-abiding moral person gun-free zone.
Exactly.
Every criminal is already committed to breaking the law, so it's literally meaningless.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you walk into a shop that says no handguns, you walk into a church that says no handguns, okay, you are giving up voluntarily your right, and you have a right to ask that patron or that proprietor, you know, what are you going to guarantee back to me for what you're asking me to give up?
Well, you have the right to ask. He can say nothing, and then you have the right to not go in.
Yeah.
You have the right to boycott his
I
business.
just wonder what legal doctrines are people held accountable for those that break into their backyard and drown in their pool. Or a criminal being injured on your property while in the commission of perhaps a violent crime, like in California.
Watch.
So if this is possible, why is it not possible, far more rationally, to hold someone responsible for a mass killing in 96% of the mass shooting death zones, which are gun-free areas?
Okay, but I've got to clarify something here, folks. We don't know what motivated this person.
Sure.
We've intimated maybe
Correct.
it's mental health, maybe it's
I
psych
don't know.
drugs,
I wanna
could
find
be
out.
terrorism, could be, you know,
I
domestic
actually don't
terrorism,
care.
could be international.
He's only said he was
we
angry.
don't
Doesn't matter.
know. Okay, we don't know, and he's dead
True.
now, right? Or no, if they arrested him,
I think, is he dead?
there have been
I
three.
I've been on the road. I haven't been able
On
to
the
find out.
MCU, yes.
There have
think
been
he's
3
still-
shootings this weekend. One was in Philadelphia, at least one person dead, like 5 shot. I think the other was in Chicago. So we've only heard about the California.
Those are just normal though in Philadelphia
I
and
know.
Chicago.
But nonetheless, when 6 or more people are shot,
I read a couple of lefty articles,
Okay.
and none of them mentioned whether
So,
the shooter was killed
yeah.
or not. But you know what's funny too, going back to something we mentioned before, they have no idea what they're talking about. The left typically, I mean, they used all kinds of incorrect nomenclature referring to the guns. They want to regulate the guns, but they don't know what the gun is, or how it operates, or what the laws are, or the purpose of them. But you were saying.
no,
Yeah.
that's it.
Well, here's the thing: you can't regulate a gun. You can regulate the use of a gun. In other words, I can't shoot you. That's a regulation, right?
Testing gun, you know,
But a prohibition for me to have possess a gun is not a regulation. That's a prohibition. So proper use of a gun, prohibition.
Is it a regulation
arm
to mandate
is
how
not
many
a
rounds capacity you can have in a magazine?
No, that's a prohibition.
It's a prohibition.
Shall not be infringed.
Yes.
So let me
A
ask
well-regulated militia. Gotcha.
to wind us up here.